Hello and welcome back to the next episode. What is this? First and six, one and six, first and six, right? For what are you looking at?
I just noticed you changed your name.
Yeah, I did. So for those of you that might watch this on YouTube or what have you, I changed my name. For those of you that are listening,
Oh crap, I still
welcome.
have my work email.
You do. So everyone can email you. Welcome back to the next episode of Goal Line Crossers. I am your host, Andrew Fry, with my lovely wife, Stacy Fry. Episode first and six, which doesn't happen very often in real football, but in our world, it happens in the next episode. So, Stacy, how's your week going? Where in the world is Stacy Fry today? So for those of you that perhaps are watching,
I
you
know.
are
So
you are definitely of a different background.
so usually, and people, and by people I mean my mom, make fun of us because we record from different rooms in the same house, but now we're actually in two separate places. So I am in the resort town of Springfield, Massachusetts, which
Not as a resort town. It's got the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like I wouldn't call that a resort. So
no, I am looking out at a pool. There are some people in the pool. It must be warm enough. I don't know. I haven't been outside all day, but beautiful property. Just haven't stepped outside the door. So I think you're right. It's probably not a resort town.
no, I will stop you there. It isn't. Nobody like go to Springfield, go for the Basketball Hall of Fame. We've been. It's awesome. Kids loved
Mhm.
it. Great Hall of Fame, but not a resort town. In fact, I think we went to the town, went to the Hall of Fame, and then left promptly to stay somewhere else.
To,
So
to be fair, my Uber driver on the way here yesterday, I think it was, did say, if it's after dark, please take an Uber, ma'am. I was like, oh, well, that's saying something. So,
that should tell you everything you need to know. So
and he called me ma'am, but
well,
you know,
hey, you're getting up there in age. For as much as I
yeah.
have gray hair, you are now a man. So welcome to the old life. So all right, so last week, let's do a little bit of a recap. We didn't really do picks, right? Because it was preseason was over, college football was there. So we're gonna pick that up this week. But you did ask me if I saw any upsets coming, and I didn't. I didn't see any upsets coming. And but there was, I would say. So Florida had a nice showing. Anthony Richardson looks like the real deal. He's kind of getting this moniker of mini Cam. He's like 6'3", 225 and can run and throw. So he seems to be able to carry Florida. So they had a really good showing. I also predicted that Ohio State was going to blow the doors off of Notre Dame. Didn't quite happen. They won, but it was a lot closer for most of the game than I think I anticipated. So that's, we'll see. I think we're in for a little bit of an unpredictable college football season. I did say Georgia was going to blow out Oregon. That was the truth. I also think people are joining my bandwagon that they might be the best team in college football over Alabama. But we'll see. It's very early. We'll see what happens this week. And shout out to Michigan, handled their business against Colorado State. And so we'll see what the JJ McCarthy era looks like.
So two comments on two separate games. One, the Michigan game, you mentioned it last week. You were going to be watching that on the beach, which you did. You just watched it on your phone under the tent. But what I love most is you watched it till the very end. Like it was a close one. Like they won by what, 45 points or something like that.
Yeah, look, I had to see Alex Orji score a
Oh, that's
touchdown
a
in
terrible
the end
name.
zone and have Robert Griffin III say,
It's
and there's an
unfortunate.
orgy in the end zone. I had to
That
watch
is
it. I had to watch
unfortunate.
it.
Second game I want to talk about is Notre Dame, Ohio State, because the real winner in that game is the Notre Dame coach. And I know we have some lady listeners who agree with me. So who knew? Who knew? Now
I
me.
knew because
Now
I
I knew.
knew I knew when he got hired and he replaced Chip Kelly, who is not a looker, that they were upgrading in that department. So you're
There's been
sure
many TikTok videos that have somehow come across my
somehow
FYP page
somehow.
about,
I
I don't
wonder
even know
what
his name,
you've been
Marcus
googling.
Freeman.
I wonder you've been googling. And yes, his name is Marcus Freeman, and I wonder you've
Yeah.
been googling.
No, I don't. I might switch my fandom. I don't know. We'll see.
So,
Anyway,
so I'm going to throw out real quick a little bit of news. So I'm going to give again my opinion. It's my podcast or our podcast. So I'm going to throw this out there. Michigan has been sort of the talk of college football for how they were going to handle their quarterback situation. For those of you that don't know, Cade McNamara was the starter last year, took them to the college football playoffs, which Stacey, you and I went to, and really, not carried the team, but was a very good quarterback for them last year. Meanwhile, they had an incoming freshman who's perhaps the most highly anticipated quarterback since a guy by the name of Drew Henson, and just, was supposed to light up the world, but never took the starting job. So all offseason, all anybody talked about was how J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara were in this quarterback battle. Well, last week, Harbaugh came out and said, hey, we're going to start one game. We're going to start, we're starting Cade game 1, we're starting JJ game 2, and then we'll decide game 3 and on. So everybody was like, oh, that's unconventional. That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm like, look, Jim Harbaugh has earned the right to do whatever he wants in this situation. He's a quarterback in the NFL. He's coached NFL quarterbacks. He's won where he's gone. I'm going to ride with the situation. A lot of people had opinions. I think he made the right call. Cade McNamara showed in that game that even though they won by the 47 points or whatever, he didn't have a great game. J.J. McCarthy got in, went 4 for 4, ran a 20-yard touchdown in, and just looked amazing. And so everyone, including I think Cade McNamara right now, is saying, like, it is not my job anymore. It is J.J. McCarthy's job. And when Hawaii comes to town this weekend, I fully expect J.J. to put on a show, and we will be in the official J.J. McCarthy era, and Jim Harbaugh will have handled it the right way.
What years are they?
Cade McNamara technically is like a sophomore because of the weird COVID rule. I think he's actually a junior, but he technically could come back for 3 more years. JJ McCarthy officially has 3 more years left. He is a true sophomore. So I think he did the right thing. So we'll see. Again, maybe it all blows up in his face, but I think with how it's played out so far, if JJ McCarthy goes out and destroys Hawaii, I think he's your starter the rest of the year, and it worked out in Jim Harbaugh's favor. So everyone else that complained, you guys can go pound sand. So let the best man win.
Okay. We'll see.
So now,
all right. So, well, no, I want to preface this with something. I do want to go over the remaining 2 divisions.
Yes.
Weeks prior, I have done my research. This week, I have done 0. So if you've known me any length of time and you've ever watched like a UFC fight with me, I pick it based on very scientific reasoning, who I think the winner is going to be. Usually like who has better tattoos, whose shorts I like better, that type of thing. That's really where my rankings are going to come from today. So I'm just setting your expectations low.
I feel like that was an excuse. Everything you just said was excuse. Wah, wah, wah. We'll see. Again, if I quizzed you, I think right now you wouldn't even know who the West teams are. That's a lie. You're looking at them right now on the computer.
No, we already did this. We already did this. We already talked about that.
Fine, I'll do the North, and I still don't think you would get them. And you're looking at it on the computer.
So. I'm looking at West, but I only know 3.
Yeah. All right, so let's go with the West. So I'll kick it off. We're starting with the West. Worst team in the division. Actually, I think this is a pretty competitive division, but there's been an extreme fall from grace for a team. At one point, I think there were 3 or 4 playoff teams in this division. The Seattle Seahawks are not one of them anymore. The Seattle Seahawks have no quarterback. Russell Wilson is gone. They have injuries at running back with their second rounder now injured, Kenneth Walker. While they have receivers still, I think there's some malcontent there. They lost Bobby Wagner. Like, they've got holes. The Seahawks are by far the worst team in the West Division. They will finish 4th.
I agree with you. Also, because Pete Carroll's the least attractive coach out of the 4. I do like their colors. He's the coach, right?
He is, but I'm trying to, I'm comparing. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, sure. Sean McVay, sure.
I mean, Pete Carroll's like 80 years old.
Agreed. He is.
Not my type.
Okay. I guess the Arizona Cardinals. All right, you're right. He's 80. Everybody else is like 40 something. So I guess that would make sense. Okay,
Yes.
I'm with you.
No, but I do. That was an easy pick for me, regardless of Pete Carroll. I'm just joking about Pete Carroll, but I agree. I'm putting them in fourth too.
Okay. So now it gets interesting. So now we have uh 3, 2, 1. I'm going to actually go with Arizona at 3. I think they could be a playoff team. I think they have the second best quarterback in the division. They also have weapons, but they've lost Christian Kirk, who I think was underrated for them. DeAndre Hopkins is suspended for 6 games. And so I think they've got some holes, even with Kyler Murray being their quarterback. So I feel like they will end up being the third best team in the West, and they won't be in the playoffs.
Again, I'm going to agree. I did do minor research. I don't have like the stats to back it up like I normally do, but I am going to put them in third. But I do have a question. Did Kyler Murray do something, or was some issue with him in the offseason with his hair or something? Am I making something
No,
up?
it wasn't his hair. It was in the contract. They put in a clause that he had to basically do homework. If he didn't do 10 hours of film study that was verifiable, he lost money as a bonus.
Why was that? Because he just wasn't performing, or they felt like he was just.
A lot of people were saying it's because he didn't do it before, so it was a really bad look, right? Because it meant he wasn't putting in the time. Other people were saying he was doing it anyway, and it was just a way for them to like claw back money, whatever. There was never like a true stance. I think everybody tried to save face and say that it's a standard clause for Arizona contracts, and it was missed. They took it out, from what I understand, what he actually signed, or they did an addendum and they removed it. But it was not a good look, and there was definitely a lot of angst around the clause. So.
All right, I'm going to give my second pick just so people don't think I'm copying you in case we have the second. Okay. Again, I have no reasoning just beyond the one that I think is in first. I just think they're in first. So that leaves this one, and I'm going to put the Niners in second.
We're in agreement. I think that the returning Super Bowl champs have enough talent coming back that they should be there. And I think the Niners are better than the Cardinals, even though it's Trey Lance. Garoppolo is going to come back, so at some point they could just roll with Garoppolo if needed. Their defense is still going to be solid. They didn't really lose a lot there. And I think offensively, yes, they lost Mike McDaniel. You still have Kyle Shanahan. You're still going to be able to manufacture a running game. And it might actually be better because Trey Lance can move on his feet. So I think they're heads and shoulders above the Cardinals. I think they will be in position for a playoff win and a playoff game. But they and with Deebo Samuel, but they are not, in my opinion, better than the Rams, who we both obviously have at 1, who just literally returned everybody. I mean, you went to the Super Bowl. You still have Stafford. By all intents and purposes, it sounds like he's healthy still. You have Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, you lost Robert Woods, but he was hurt. Yeah, you lost OBJ, but everything says he might come back. You still have Cooper Kupp. Like Allen Robinson was signed there. A lot of big talk about him, especially fantasy wise. I don't know how you go against the Rams as a repeat out of the West.
Okay, well then we're in agreement on that one.
So that's another division in the NFC that I think we went chalk against each other. So we'll have to see how the South ends up turning out. But in between, I think you're going to try to school me again. Is that right? You're going to give me some knowledge and some facts?
Yeah, so I think we skipped last week, but we're going to return to what'd you call it the first time? The Stacy segment or something like that? Mm-hmm. Something lame. We still haven't come up with a good name for the segment. But this time I want to focus on a lady by the name of, who's still active in the NFL, Sarah Thomas. Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
Who is she?
Isn't she the assistant coach?
No.
Oh.
So is that the one? Are you referring to the one from the Bills?
Yes.
So when Rex Ryan left, they didn't renew her contract. She's not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
She's not employed because she was my first choice, but she's not employed by the NFL anymore. And I want to do a little more digging to see where she was before I gave a report on her, because it's kind of a bummer, that one. But Sarah Thomas is the first full-time woman ref on the NFL field.
Oh,
so okay. She reffed the Super Bowl in 2021. She grew up in the South, went to University of Mobile on a basketball scholarship. She's been an athlete her entire life. Her entire family was athletes. And she started she just was interested in becoming a ref. No, it wasn't because her kids needed one or anything like that. But when she was 23 years old, she started in youth football, reffing youth football games. And 3 years later, she moved into high school and then eventually college. She reffed a bowl game. So she's been in the industry for a long time, very well respected woman. But you know what's unfortunate? And we encounter this a lot with women in sports, right? You had shared an article with me. I think it was about Ionescu from the Liberty. You had shared an article or Twitter article about something. And the article was really positive. And then I wrote back to you and I said, read the Twitter comments under it. And it was disgusting to read what grown men write about a grown woman playing a sport. It's just outrageous. So I say that because there's an article that came out about Sarah Thomas maybe a year or two ago, talking about how she is the most hated ref in the NFL for no reason, right? For no reason other than what I'm sure is because she's a woman and men don't like to see her on the field.
And whether that's true or not, the inference is there, right? I mean,
Right.
whether it's they just don't trust her calls, right? Or she's made a couple bad ones and people
Which she,
bag on her.
you can think of, I'm sure you can. I can't name them personally, but yes, I can. The Saints playoff game. Like we can all think of really bad calls made by refs. She doesn't have one of those calls that everybody remembers. She doesn't have one of those. So that's really unfortunate. But the other thing I love about her is that she has a tie to the Saints. That's how she got her NFL intro, is she reffed the scrimmages at training camp under Sean Payton, and he gave her the referral to move to a full-time position. So of course that tugs at my heartstrings. I love that, and big advocate for her and what she does on the field. So Sarah Thomas.
And I think that's awesome. And we're seeing women refs in basketball, right? And others. So I think that it is cool that it's growing. I mean, for those of you that don't know, my wife and I are both very active in the youth community in our area, specifically in our local football organization. I have been involved in football in our area for a long time. I cannot name you a female ref right now, nor do I think I've seen one. So it's awesome to see that, but I don't know that it's a youth movement, right? Or that it's a grassroots thing growing. I wish it would. We need more, right?
Oh
like if I could put in a pitch, like we need refs, and she started at the youth level. So if you're interested, like get certified. I can get you the information. DM us. Stacy will get me your information. I can get you how to get started as a ref. And it would be great. It'd be awesome to have more female refs move in the ranks, start at youth. We need them. So I'll put a little plug and a shout out there, because that would be awesome. I love that that's where she started, and I think it's a great place to learn, and I think we need more of them. So
yeah.
I absolutely.
I mean, it is a thankless job.
Oh, right? It is. Look, I'm saying all of that, and I love the sport, but I would never be a ref. So like, I completely agree.
You have to have a thick skin.
It is unfortunate that that's the situation. It's also why we're at a shortage right now. I mean, the articles that people are hearing, or if you see it on the news, it's real. At least especially in the Pennsylvania area, they have high school games now on Thursday night and Saturdays because they don't have enough refs to do Friday night games. And so, and there aren't enough refs to do youth games. And so they're canceling youth games because of lack of refs. So it's a real problem. So if more people like Sarah would come out and do it, I think there'd be, we would be better off, for our love of the sport. So
one other thing I want to mention about Sarah, because it wasn't Amy Trask I can't remember if anybody else did. I don't think so. Is that she's a mom, and she has a daughter, and her daughter tells her teacher that when she grows up, she wants to be a mom and a ref like her mom, which, what a great example she's setting for her daughter. And I know our daughter would appreciate that story. So I just thought that part was particularly important.
That's awesome. Nope, that's a win as well. And I'm glad again that I learned something new. I will know who that person is here in the future. So now, not sure if she's reffing any NFC North games this week, but we'll move on to the NFC North division if we could try to keep the train rolling down the tracks. So I have kicked these off every time. So now I'm going to actually kick it over to you. Give me your fourth team of the division.
I really have no idea. It's between two for no other reason in that, like, well, I don't want to tell who my number 1 and 2 are. I'm just gonna pick the Vikings.
Okay.
Mostly because I can't really name anybody on the team.
Okay. So
Feelings?
this is why I'm so glad that I started with you. I personally think it's between two teams. I'm actually going to go with the Bears. I think it's the Bears. As much as Justin Fields is a great quarterback, and I think he will eventually be really good, he doesn't have any weapons. The offensive line has holes. He has David Montgomery as the running back, but like it's just the two of them. Allen Robinson's gone. They have holes on defense. New coaching staff. I think they're in fourth. Since you started, I'll go with my third. I'll now go with the Lions as number 3, which again, you could have easily put at 4, but I'll go with the Lions at 3. Look, I don't know if anyone has watched Hard Knocks, but I have, and it has been really, really good. He's been one of the better Hard Knocks in recent memories. Dan Campbell is just a cool human, and he's, in my opinion, a good coach. And I think they've got something brewing there with Aiden Hutchinson and Jared Goff as just a good enough quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like
Who's the one that that sang the song?
That's Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh my gosh, so cute. I love it.
Come on now. And look, you get
so
the whole team
cute.
in it. It's great.
Yes, it was so good.
Those of you that don't know what we're talking about, like Google Aiden Hutchinson, Billie Jean. Just Google it.
So good.
And just watch the clip. It's great. And
it's such a feel good.
Yes.
It's very like Remember the Titans-esque, right? Like everyone's like laughing at him, and then
he's a Detroit boy who went to Michigan. He's a Michigan boy who went to Michigan and is now on Detroit. Like you can't write the script any better. Who's also good, by the way. Like it also happens to be one of the better players, in the draft class. But great clip. I'm not saying they're a playoff team, whatever, but they're not the worst team in the division, and I think that they've got this thing going in the right direction. So I put the Lions.
So maybe I was tuning you out. I didn't hear anything like bad. Are the other two teams just that much better than them?
They have more talent, and I'll get to that. The other two have more talent. So, but they are 3. They look, another good draft and some maturity from some guys. And to be honest, in my opinion, if they just get a quarterback, like maybe somehow get a stud either in the draft or through free agency, like the Lions could take a big leap. I'm that much of a believer in what they're doing. And maybe it's Hard Knocks that has me, drinking the Kool-Aid, but I still have them at 3. So you have the Vikings. Who's your third?
I had the Bears, and I had them in 3rd because I know who I want in my number 1, and I liked the Billie Jean dance.
Wow. Okay. I love how you set the bar low before this, because you're definitely like clearing that low bar right now. So
that's good. At least I'm meeting and exceeding.
Good work. All right. So then too, I'm gonna go with the Vikings, right? And I'm gonna go with the Vikings because they are just more talented. So they do have a new coach. I think the new coach is actually going to be better. I think he's going to bring a little bit more of like an offensive flair for them. So I think that will all be positives. Kirk Cousins is better than people give him credit for or bash him for. They still have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. They've got the pieces on the offensive line. Like they're going to score with people. And I think with the new coach, I think they'll definitely be able to keep up with folks. Again, don't know that they're a playoff team, but they are easily, in my opinion, the number 2 team in that division.
So that leaves us with number 1, which I'm going to pick because Aaron Rodgers, he got a haircut, I think. So I think that helps. And also I think him and Shailene Woodley broke up, which I don't know what was happening. I think he was going through a phase of life, and I think he's cut the dead weight, literally and figuratively. So I'm going to put them at number 1.
Good job.
Thank you.
So this is what I feel like our podcast should be, like you picking for those reasons rather than all your statistics, because I like that. I'll say that people may look at the Packers and think they're going to take a step back, which is probably true, but I think they have to remember that the rest of the division is still far behind them. They lost Davante Adams. A lot of people have let Aaron Rodgers drop in fantasy drafts because they just don't know who he's going to throw to. I think with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't matter who he throws to. I think that with Allen Lazard, some of the young guys, some of the rookies, with Tonyan coming back, with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon as a 2-headed monster on running back, Bakhtiari is coming back at left tackle. Like they have enough still with Aaron Rodgers and around him that they'll be able to score what they need to. Their defense is really good. Rashawn Gary, ex-Michigan guy, go blue, turned it around last year. Like he had a really good year that people don't know about. They still have Jair Alexander, one of the better corners people don't seem to know about. They are still going to be good. Are they going to be the number one seed in the NFC good? No. But they're winning the division. And it has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers' hair or his girlfriend. So,
Ex-girlfriend.
Whatever.
Ex-fiance.
Whatever. Look, I still don't know how you put a ring on it and then walk away, but whatever. That's just me.
Happens. All right. Well, that wraps up all of our divisions.
So we'll have to come back at the end of the year. We'll have to come back and like see how we did. We'll do an audit and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember who I picked.
Oh, no, we'll just listen through and write them down. So I'll task you with that one. You don't have enough going on.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I want to get to a little bit of news. I have two things I want to talk about. Both are kind of sad. Believe it. I'm going to start with the football related one first. I know you guys are tired of hearing about him, but Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh.
I think him and his wife are really going through it. And
well, the rumors are now that she like left the house and has moved out at the start of the season. Like she's done.
Yeah. So as much haterade as I want to drink in terms of Tom Brady, you never want to see a marriage fail. And I do not picture Giselle to be the type of woman, like I feel like if they made an agreement and he went back on it, she's going to hold him to the fire. I believe her to be that type. So that's unfortunate. I hope they work it out. My lighting is getting weird in here. I hope they work it out. I hope that the reason he went away was to go on The Masked Singer or to get plastic surgery on his face, which I saw he posted another Instagram photo like today or yesterday. Something is wrong with his face. But I hope that's the reason and that it's not a marital strife issue, because that would be sad.
Yeah, I mean, again, nothing has come out for why. Masked Singer has been a rumor. Rumor was that he had agreed to a vacation with her, and so when he came back, he was like, "I'll come back," and they were like, "Sure." Who knows? But I agree with you. I am not a hater, obviously, but I agree with you. No one wants to see a relationship come to an end, especially one where it's a person choosing his job and his love for what he does.
Which happens, right?
Which it does.
Not just
look,
football.
But you and I in the past have talked about how Joe Paterno, as an example, like once you took football away from him, again, we live in the state of Pennsylvania, Penn State coach, was an icon. He lasted like 2 months when you took football away from him. Like that was it. And so, there's just this thing about falling in love with what you do and it being a reason that you like move. Yeah. I'm not saying Tom Brady's dying and he's not playing quarterback, but like it is his motivation for like life right now, it seems like. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that if that's the case or the cause that's where they're at. So yeah, that's a stinker.
It is. So the other news, I'm Googling this because there's been a lot of back and forth today. Okay, yes, confirmed. Is that Queen Elizabeth died today, 96 years old, which there was some flurry this morning that everybody was getting their butts to Scotland to be with her. Her health was rapidly declining and it's confirmed that she passed. So 96 years old, was the Queen for 70 years, which is, we'll probably never see something like that again. At least in our lifetime, we won't see that again for sure. But I think what I'm more wondering about is, does Charles take the throne?
Already been confirmed.
Confirmed. Because there was some words that maybe he would just kind of hand it to his son, right? Nobody really likes Charles.
And the royal family Twitter account, which apparently is a blue checkbox, like legit thing, put out a statement from the king. Wow. And it was Charles, that his dear mother, and it was a sad day. So I believe it. That's as confirmed as I think you can make it.
Yeah.
That he is going to take it over at 70 himself.
So that means Camilla is queen consort, which do you know what that means?
No, but wasn't it like because she's the number 2, like she can't actually be the queen, right?
Because she married into the family. She's consort. So Queen Elizabeth didn't marry into the lineage. She was born into it.
Oh, so it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she's number 2? Wasn't there some deal with Princess Diana and the divorce?
No,
Oh, I didn't
no,
know that.
no. So queen consort is married into it.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't apply to kings because Philip was never king. He was Prince Philip. So
Yeah.
It's very interesting. The other thing that this is horrible, and I am going to sound so ignorant when I say it. I didn't know that the queen, or now the king, was head of state for Canada. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. Canada and Australia, and then a bunch of other smaller countries. But Canada and Australia, the head of state is the queen.
Australia makes sense because that was like their colony for a while and whatever. I didn't know Canada. So that is an ignorance on my part. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be curious how many of our listeners out there actually knew that answer. My guess is none. So Becca, while you're running, if you hear this, please tell me, Miss Scientist, if you actually knew that answer. My guess is
because science very much has to do with that.
So. Whatever, as miseducated, you tell me if you knew that. My guess is no. So
that's all the news I have. Both kind of sad, but
yeah. So let's move to something not as sad and pick for our survivor. Okay, so
it could be sad.
Well, it's gonna be sad for you because I feel like you're losing week 1. But I
want you to pick first because I'm new to this. I want you to pick first.
No, okay. So I'm gonna explain it. So really quickly, Survivor is where you are allowed to pick a game every week, not against the spread, just who's gonna win, but you can't pick that team again. Meaning you advance every week. So as you're running through the season, so if I pick week 1, let's just say I pick Dallas, that means week 2 or the rest of the season I can't pick Dallas again. So there's some strategy about when you use some of the good teams. Some people have a strategy of I'll wait to use the good teams till later in the year. Some people are like, let me just get through the first 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm going to pick the Bills and the Chiefs. I'm going to pick all the good teams even when they play bad teams. So there's like a little strategy tied here. But again, that's what we're going to do, you and I, Survivor, and see which person can last the longest. And we're recording this on Thursday, so the first game of the season is tonight. It's the Bills and the Rams. I hope you're not picking either one of them because that's a tough game to choose. But in my opinion, there are a couple gimmies. There are a couple teams that face some lesser opponents who are also teams that I would say aren't upper echelon. And so like that's the games I look for early. Like I look for those teams that I've said, yeah, you're going to win the division, but you're not a Super Bowl contender. Like that's the kind of teams I'm looking for early. And so there's a couple of those. For instance, I'll throw one out there, Ravens Jets. You know, that's a team that I thought has a playoff team, you know, perhaps could win the division, maybe. And then they play the Jets, right? Not a very good team from that perspective. And then you've got other games with matchups like that where you've got
don't say anymore. Like I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll stop.
Yeah. Because okay, go ahead.
No, continue.
No, because I was just going to give my pick and I don't want to give that yet.
Oh, why not?
Okay, fine. So initially I was going to pick Ravens Jets, but then I was like, I probably want to save that, right? Like that, like you said, I would imagine is a gimme. God forbid something happens. I don't know. So I wanted to save that. So, but then I picked another game, which I think is probably the same. Maybe not. I don't know. Hold on one second. I'm going to look again. No, I'm going to go with it. I'm so nervous to say it because what happens if I'm wrong? Then what do we do the rest of the season?
We restart and I just win 1-0 and I have a new pair of shoes.
Well, but then what if I lose the second game? Like you're not getting 16, 18 pairs of
shoes. Look,
if
you can't get a single game right, I'm going to get 16 pairs of sneakers. Yes, I am.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm changing my mind again.
You can't look, you say it, we got to stick with it because
I know. That's why I'm not saying it. That's why I'm so anxious. Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Titans.
Okay, so who are the Titans playing?
The Giants.
Okay, so you're taking the Titans over the Giants.
Yes.
Titans are a 5.5 point favorite. So that's a pretty big line. So that's who you're rolling with at this point.
Yes. Final answer. Can I tell you what my other pick was? Because I'm just curious what your thoughts
mm-hmm.
was the Broncos over the Seahawks.
Okay. So it's interesting that you say that. That was actually one of my potential choices as well. I think Russell Wilson, revenge game, you know, the Seahawks are a bad team, but I think, you know, and honestly, Broncos may not be another pick much of the year because you still have the Chargers and the Chiefs in the division, what have you. So you know what? I just talked about this. I'm actually going to go with that. I'm going to go with the Broncos. So I have the Broncos. You have the Titans. I will tell you who I wasn't going to pick them, but I ended up picking them just now as we talked about it. I was actually going to pick Colts over the Texans. I think that the Texans just aren't a good team. I think the Colts are actually a really good team. And then we'll see what happens. So.
Okay. So Titans, Broncos.
Yep.
Okay. That'll do it.
Okay.
All right. Fingers crossed. Wait, when is that game? When is my game? Because now I'm nervous. And we're like out of town this weekend. Oh, I have a Monday night game.
No,
Oh, you have, shoot, I was going back. I was trying to steal that game back. You have a Monday night game. I have a Sunday 4:00 game.
Exactly. I have the Monday night game.
Yeah, shoot. Okay. All right. Well, that wraps us up for today. Recording late. This is going to get posted late on a Thursday.
I was going to say, whenever you have a chance to edit it, because I know that's your thing. So,
yeah.
But, everyone enjoy the full weekend of football, full slate tonight and Saturday for college and pro on Sunday and Monday. So look forward to it. And everyone have a great rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, everybody.